Alright, what we have here is paraffin crude. It's got a lot, if you look here you'll see an interface, quite a bit of high molecular weight paraffin, okay? And there's quite a bit of hydrogen sulfide in here as well. This is why we're outside. We can't even bring it inside to do this testing because it's too caustic, and hydrogen sulfide is a poisonous gas. So you can see the interface here. All of that is high molecular weight paraffin. This is probably some of the worst paraffin we've seen, and probably some of the most branched and high molecular weight stuff, because we have not seen anything like this so far. So we're looking at worst case of the worst here. As I tilt the bottle, you can see here that the paraffin's stuck on the side. I mean, the glass is essentially opaque. Okay. And what we have here is the same paraffin crude. Okay. And this crude, you can see as you roll it along the sides, it's completely uniform here. And that's important to notice, because as we emulsify it, you're going to see that uniformity break up. But here along the sides, and if we allow this to dry, you'd essentially have a nice thin coat of wax all along the side of this beaker here. Okay, here's our chemical here. Putting in 0.02% solution. We're going to make this a 0.02% solution, so very, very low amount. Whoops. Mix it around. Make a mess. And you can see the bubbles there. You can see how it's not as uniform. This is at extremely low concentration. We've got all the bubbles there. That's basically the emulsification taking place. So let's add a little bit more. Do it stepwise. Okay, so about a 0.05%, 0.04% solution here, somewhere around that. Still very low weight, low concentration. Now you can really see it starting to break up. This was no water at all, so it's more difficult to show without water. But you can see the breaks in the emulsion. Now we'll add water. We'll add water, and it will really clear it up quite a bit. What you'll be able to. Now it doesn't require water. We're just adding the water so that you can have a better idea. But there, you can see the tiny little bubbles, micro bubbles, essentially putting an emulsifying paraffin into a crude. So you're putting like into like. It's not emulsification into water. It's taking the paraffin and emulsifying it back into the crude. So it's difficult to visualize it without forcing the visual. And we'll do that now with some water. Okay, so here we are. We're preparing to add some water, and keep in mind that this emulsifier is, number one, completely biodegradable, completely non-toxic, and is only soluble in the oil. So this water will help to show some of the problems that would be associated, and it should allow to show some paraffins in there because we're at a very low concentration. We'll see them stick, and then we'll increase the concentration of our solution. Get on the side here. Oh, good. It's going to actually separate relatively well, quickly. Okay, good. Actually, to me, it's starting. There's not much here. What we have is not much paraffin sticking here, even in the presence of the water. So as I come back and forth, you'll see even what seems to be sticking to the side of the container is not. And as you look over here, frankly, there's nothing there. And so a good way to look at this is if you look up on the top here where everything's kind of leaked down and there's no oil, because remember, the emulsification requires that there's oil there. So anything on the glass up here would be some residual paraffin that doesn't have oil to go into it. If you look up down here, you'll see that it's very clear. Okay, so you look up at the top here, you can see residual paraffin that requires oil to bring it back into into solution. And then down here, you'll see, it's very, very clear. I'll just agitate just a little bit down here. Very clear. Not much of anything sticking to the sides, and even that right there is what I wanted to show. But that'll go away. It's just very minor agitation. At the oil-water interface is where you're going to see some of this. But in a well bore, it's going to be like this. And let's just see what happens when we add quite a bit more. Just something that would be more, even reasonable to expect into a 0.1% final concentration. It would be a total of 0.1%. See all the bubbles, all the microemulsions there? This is all emulsified in water and oil. All the paraffin is back into solution. This shows how the chemical reacts with the paraffin and the crude in a cut, the normal water crude cut, and then if we let this settle, we'll see it separate, and quite a bit actually. I can see it from here, but right now there's the microemulsion right there that is very important. The settling tanks and in the tank batteries, this will settle out, and you won't have any residual on the bottom of the battery, or after time on the bottom of this beaker. Okay, if you notice here, just while this is starting to settle out, as I pull these up, you can see little bubbles, little microemulsions. That's the reaction of the chemical with the crude and the paraffin, but you'll notice it flows freely down the side. There's nothing there that's sticking to the side. This is completely, the viscosity has been lowered significantly because the paraffin's been put back into solution, which doesn't happen here. Just coats the sides. Not quite as much air in this one. And what's important here, you can see this. It's might be difficult to see, but it's very waxy there. It's a buildup that if we leave that staying there, will not move at all. Whereas this is very, very low viscosity, and this will separate out slowly. We'll have it with time. Okay, well, this is the mason jar that we just saw. You can see all the waxy buildup on the side. This is an untreated, so this does not contain our chemical at all. And then next to it, we treated this sample. We shook them each around. This is the untreated. Actually, you can see quite a bit of paraffin on the sides here. Here's the treated. Flip them over, better visual. See it coming off the sides quite rapidly. Here, there's nothing moving. Okay, that looks pretty good. Okay, so as you can see, they settled here. You can see quite a bit of paraffin wax on the side, and then you can see that this has been dissipated significantly, and will be. Even what you see here has already been put into solution, and quite easily in the presence of crude. So there you have it.